Jarod Cooper is not responsible for cleaning up Dutch Harbor, but he is cleaning up the town. It's the nature of his business, after all. Dutch Harbor steam cleaning.
It's really primed for a cleaning business. Doesn't have one to speak of.
With the promise of little competition and low overhead, Jarod, Marian, and Isabella Cooper fled the recession that nearly drove them out of business in Oregon this summer.
Small businesses there are hurting. More recently, in the last couple of years, Oregon's imposed a couple taxes that tax a small business like mine on the gross of the income indirectly, and that was a big impact on my business.
The island of Unalaska had captured Jarod Cooper's imagination since he spent time there as a young seafood worker in 2000. And what he found when he returned was a little bit of paradise for a small business owner.
There's more houses. It seems like there's more small families, younger children. There's a new grade school since last time I was here.
The Dutch Harbor of the past, the fisherman's port, had given way to a small and vibrant community in Unalaska.
Things really started changing about 20 years ago, and in the last 10 years, people have just seen an enormous change where it's just become a really healthy, solid community instead of a work camp.
A quota system in the pollock fishery established more than a decade ago brought an end to Dutch Harbor's Wild West era.
Made a huge difference in this community, and it stopped the huge highs and lows, the swings of business, where you'd need to have a bunch of people working overtime for several months of the year, and then all of a sudden you wouldn't need anybody, and then it would be back to needing everybody.
Soccer moms didn't populate the island overnight, but the city was able to plan revenues in advance and begin to provide infrastructure that would eventually attract young families like the Coopers.
Who would think that you could go out in the middle of the Bering Sea to a public school in Dutch Harbor and find a blue ribbon school?
In fact, there are only 256 such highly achieving schools in the entire country.
And the school is amazing. The teachers, the staff, the principal are outstanding.
A lack of high-speed internet and other high-tech distractions means that newcomers like Marian spend a lot of time with other people.
Life is supposed to be like this, We're not supposed to be as disconnected as we can be in bigger cities.
The Coopers like what they found here.
We're committed. We shipped everything we have.
We shipped our entire life in a container, so I think we're staying broke.
Yeah.
That same 280-degree water that Jarod uses to clean up Dutch Harbor and Unalaska also isolates people and causes them to become stranded.
So how's it been going? How are your days going?
I ran into a friend of mine off one of the boats. He gave me $40 for food.
For Eddie and Ahmed, the journey to Dutch Harbor became a one-way ticket when they lost their jobs in the fishing industry.
Water can isolate you, even if you have $1 million.
Pastor John Honan has been housing stranded people in Unalaska for years.
I was in a bunker. I slept in a bunker one night, and somebody saw me going in, and they were talking to him. They told me about the pastor. So I came here for some assistance.
John doesn't run a homeless shelter or special housing for those who are stranded. He has a network of friends in the community to do that for him.
When your time runs out with Ned, I have another friend who has a garage, and he says we can use the upstairs of the garage for free.
He loves to try and get them home.
Or you can buy a cheap ticket for $179. I think by November 1st, I might be able to get enough money together to where I may be able to cover that for you if you can't get any work at the union.
But his dearest wish is to leave something permanent in Unalaska so that the stranded will always have somewhere to go. In the irony of all ironies, the notorious bar, the Elbow Room, which closed down in 2007, was originally donated to John to use as a shelter for stranded people.
Because the Elbow Room had been a real sore spot in the community because of the noise and the drunkenness and the problems, and the thought that I was going to take that Elbow Room and I was going to provide a place for these drunken scums to sleep was too much.
The city didn't like the irony.
The city council and the city are not, they're not at odds with him wanting to help.
They wanted to see a better process put in place to determine the best location to house the stranded.
It just takes time sometimes to find that right fit, and John's not going to give up. And he does provide, the resources he provides. And my hat's off to them.
Time is not a luxury for John.
To me, the bottom line is we're on this earth for such a short time. And we have a few mysterious moments in faith to believe God is there and believe He created these people and He loves them and do something for them. And it's going to come and go very quickly.
Water has many faces. It sustains life, it cleanses, and yet it isolates as well. For one young family just starting out, water makes them a unique part of the community, a piece that was missing before.
God bless you.
And for a longtime pastor, water is something to be reckoned with,
morning.
a challenge to overcome. It's all part of the Aleutian life. Tim Akamoff, Channel 2 News.